ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Everybody's got to calm down. We got to keep our composure. Just keep. No, I think the day has kicked in. Now the College Football Playoff Committee gets to make their big choice right here. Will they go with the Golden Gophers and shock the world? Probably not. Let's see, Alabama fans. I think number 4 sounds okay right now, as long as you get in.
Leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin. Shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast on Blab TV each and every night. I am Chad Brillante. Already, I have just gone from the parking lot into our building and already got some looks. Because if you're watching on TV, obviously I'm not trying to jump on another family bandwagon, if you know what I mean, as clearly wearing a LSU jersey in here. Now, Jeff Price joining us, and, he has the brethren out there, Nike Money, Oregon. They do their thing out there, the Autzen Zoo, and enjoy it. But, nobody really – we don't have enemies really with Oregon until maybe the next couple weeks when the College Football Committee makes their decision. Jeff, how's everything going today, by the way?
Going pretty good.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that, not a whole lot of people really care about us, but we may make some enemies here in the next few weeks.
That's right. And as you can see, the jersey – and I want this to be – from your mouth and not mine, but I'm going to turn around real quick. You're like, where is this going? But look, okay, what does it say on the back there?
Brillante.
That's right. So that is not – it took about an hour to be made today. No, actually, during the wedding right there. So the wife being LSU, I have now claimed this. Now that we lost to Tulsa, I am on that bus. I am on the not the Sooner Schooner, I hope, as the wheels have turned off. Ooh. But yeah, at this point, it's going to be fun today. Just so happened to have this laying around. Obviously, on a day that's 40 degrees, I wore a short sleeve with holes in it LSU shirt, and having some fun here. But Jeff, we got a lot to talk about. The College Football Playoff Committee. This is actually a big decision. Last week, it was like, all right, you know what? You got LSU and Alabama. It's going to play itself out. You've got Penn State versus Ohio State coming up next week. That'll change at the time, even though the Golden Gophers were right there. Now, all of a sudden, it's got a little spicy because now we've got a situation where if you, on the initial college football Week 11 polls, go out there and put a team like Oregon, Oklahoma, even a Penn State, and I've seen these crazy, like these Y2K computers going out there and doing that. If you're one of those kind of people that sees a team go ahead now, If you get one of those teams at Alabama now, that's not good news. And frankly, I hope it doesn't. Because clearly, if you look at those teams and you go through each one of them, on a neutral site field, Alabama would be a touchdown to 2-touchdown favorite over every one of them. And that's not the easiest way to judge. Everybody has their own criteria because the playoff committee will come out there. Bill Hancock, nice guy. I have no clue. Were you in here when he was on the Ohio? Yeah, you and I were watching. Mm-hmm. Why the blank was he on the Ohio Bobcats field for no reason in the cold? There was like 30 people. They put like the cardboard cutouts of their coaches, like Frank Solich, in the crowd, like those Coke Zero boxes at like Publix on the side. Just be like, well, we got a capacity crowd here. And you're like, see anybody really moving right here. Yeah. So paint figurines, like Lego figurines in the back. But Hancock was there randomly and talking about the games and talking about the system. And they said, well, it's our job to get the 4 best teams into the college football playoff. And you go, really? Well, because last year nobody would argue that Notre Dame was a better team than Georgia. They would argue that based on their body of work and that they were unbeaten in their schedule and their Notre Dame got a little peacock in the corner of their games, then, at the end of the day, they should be there. So it depends how you slice it. Joe was making some good valid points yesterday of why they shouldn't, because they haven't beaten anybody yet. What's the eye test? What is their signature win right now? And truly, what is it? Tennessee? I mean, they don't have really that signature win. However, it's going to be intriguing to see where they put the 4 teams tonight. And I would hope that it goes LSU, Ohio State. Frankly, don't care what order those 2 teams in. Those 2 teams have proven throughout the course of the year that they deserve to be there. LSU, I think, should be 1. Number 2 should be Ohio State. Number 3, Clemson. And number 4, Alabama. That's my top 4 today. We'll see when the committee picks here in an hour.
Yeah, and I'm just not on that, I guess, that hype yet. And of, the 4 teams that it's that important right now, because you look at, okay, you can put Alabama at 4, or you could put Georgia at 4, or you could mix another team in there at 4. Who knows? Maybe the Oregon. No, it's not.
Way to
Oregon.
Just completely.
No, it's not going to be Oregon. I know
you just completely ruined our intro subject, saying it's not important. I'm trying to hype it here. We got play like you want me to get some jock jams going in the back? Like, come on, boom, boom, boom.
Listen, I've been disappointed by Oregon so many times. Please don't, because the jock jams is the sad part. Whenever we end up losing to an Arizona State or something, or Arizona. No, but I think it's either going to be Alabama or Georgia, rightfully so. Either one of those should be number 4. It's not a big deal, and if Alabama's not number 4 or Georgia's not number 4, don't panic. You still got a long way to go. We got a month of football when you really look at it. And if you're Georgia and you're number 5 tonight, you're going to get your shot. Mm-hmm. But don't have a letdown like the South Carolina game, which is really hurting you right now with how South Carolina's playing. If you're Alabama and you're number 5, just keep going out there and just abusing teams.
Yeah.
And you've got your chance. You got Auburn coming up that you need to really go out there and make a statement. So either way, no matter who it is, and you look at the Oklahomas and Oregons or whatever, go out there and just play football. Who cares about all this right now? You need to take care of business on the field and then leave it to somebody else. Once you win, and once your games are over with and you've got your body of work, that's all you can do. That's all you can handle. That's all that you can control. Just leave it to everybody else. And if you're not picked after that and you believe that you should be in, then hey, we see it every year.
I'm trying to, and for the first year, now that I knew this time would come, that my team doesn't even get to put billboards up or anything, we're done. Although my new team might be sitting in number. But overall, though, when you see today's poll and everything, I hope that we get some shakeup. I hope that some people are like that fence that is not holding that pit bull in. You're like, I hope you sort of assume, you're like, well, there are laws if it bites me. Like, no, if it rips you in the jugular, you're dead anyway. It doesn't matter. You're like, hope you got your will set up. I love those people like, well, if I slip through this gutter, I will sue them. I'm like, no, you probably will die and your family might get the money. But if you want to live that way, that's fine. Those people like looking for it, like, watch this, I'm going to slam on my brakes and they're going to crush my neck. And yeah, you might go through the window, sir. Like, let's not do that. That wasn't on my agenda today. Why don't you get a job and work for your money? Join us. You can help me. But overall, I think by the way, have you seen this picture, by the way? Have you seen how horrible it was? Oh, that was hilarious. So we're looking at the South Carolina App State. There's a guy, by the way, and why not? Get him some more followers right now. Timothy Burke is his name. Nothing special. He's got the blue check mark, though, because he's got about 60,000 followers on Twitter. All the guy does is say, happy anniversary to this moment. And it's like a moment where like a coach throws the guy into the stands or just something ridiculous. And that has now been on that moment right there. How do you miss what do you think is worse on this game sort of making the Ocho list? I think it was on ESPN too, but it really, at that time frame, right after the LSU and Alabama game was over, you had other big games going on. This game was sort of ancillary to all that. But when South Carolina and App State were playing, what do you think is worse? That the guy can be literally that open on the final play of the game. That's their best receiver, too. This is the final play. There's 1 second, no other play, and there is not a defender that looks like they're in punt formation within 15 yards of him. That guy getting that wide open, is that more crazy, or that Ryan Helinski missed him completely and threw it out of bounds into the hedges where he could have grannied the ball like a Wilt Chamberlain free throw? All the ball had to do is be in play, and he probably could have ran back to the 10, caught it, and then turned around and probably done like a backwards waltz into the end zone without being touched. Moonwalked in there. What is worse in your opinion?
The throw. I mean, you see guys come open and it happens sometimes or whatever. You can go pull. I'm sorry if you're a South Carolina fan. I'm sure you're already upset.
We're gonna post this on our Facebook page. Go to ESPN Pensacola. We'll get this picture up because it's worth people going, what?
There was every quarterback that I watched in high school football this year that could have made that throw. I mean, you could go pick this guy down here in one of these offices and say, hey man, go make that throw real quick. It's just like, it's almost like he's just too open, but there's no excuse for that.
He threw it into the hedges. I mean, that's a one thing you can't. That's the guy that there's guys at second and third, and you're intentionally walking Barry Bonds to put him at first, and you throw the ball to the backstop, and the guy gets in on an intentional walk. That's what, like, they've saved some of those moments where you can actually just intentionally walk them now. Like that saved some of those wild. Thank God, wild things out there. Whew. But that was just as hideous as it gets. Some of the other things going on in light of this today, we're gonna open up the phone lines and our text line, our Pick'ems contest, and congratulations to Jesse, the winner of our Pick'ems contest, $25 gift card to Calvert's. Great place, Scott, a good friend, and they do an awesome job down there for lunch. They do a English-style pub. They got shepherd's pie, bangers and mash, and things like that. Good stuff happen. Have you ever had a night where you just wanted to get out in the town and get some bangers and mash?
Every night.
Every night, yeah. It's good. It's pretty decent. And, at Calvert's, you can do that. You can do that for lunch. You can get out there. Middle of the day, bangers and mash. And it's a pretty cool place. It's got a whole bar set up. It's got the family style. You can walk outside in the back patio. And you get a $25 gift card and also 2 hours free with 2 people to the Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range.
What's better than
So
that?
How about that? So, Jeff, you're in the room with me. If I win, I will look right at you and say, Jeff, you got a friend that I can invite. But it's going to be – it would be a lot of fun to go out there and why not? I'm sure – look, if you're a Roll Tide fan, anyone, you get some steam off.
I was about to say.
Please go to the shooting range and don't see what jersey I'm wearing today. So let's go ahead and do that. But you can send in your scores. We got a couple coming in right now. Patrick's got Georgia 33, Auburn 26. And Jesse, the winner of last one, he picked 41 to he had 42-37 LSU. He was our Pick'ems winner with that. He has Auburn 27, Georgia 26. See, both of those are pretty legit within the score. I mean, not within maybe the points, but I see it being a little lower. Like, I see it being within a touchdown. I think this is going to be a very close game, but I really think this is going to be the kind of grinder between these two teams. Georgia's defense is really good right now because they made Kyle Trask and Florida look worse. Kyle Trask is getting better.
Yeah.
And even though when he runs, he's like old Donkey Kong from Mario Kart, if you ever play that. It's like you get hit by the banana peel and it takes 45 minutes. Everybody's already like lapping you around the tracks. But when you get rolling, once he gets going, the diesel fuel gets going, boom, he's good. Kyle Trask, though, has put up huge numbers against everybody but Georgia. Georgia blanks Missouri last week. Their defense is for real. Brent Baird was on the show yesterday, and he made it pretty clear. He believes that Georgia has the best defense in the country right now, and he thinks Alabama has the best offense. However, LSU has Joe Burrow, which was enough for them. And you can argue that Joe Burrow, compared to the Alabama whole entire offense, is about equal. I mean, or more. They beat them. I mean, they flat out beat them. So whatever, that doesn't matter. That game-winning score matters. I think it's going to be more of a 21-17, 24-20 type game. That's where I see this go.
Yeah,
with Auburn and Georgia.
Well, we know how good Auburn's run defense is, and they're phenomenal, top-notch. I just don't think there's a better one in the nation. And Georgia likes to run the football, but we've seen Georgia open it up lately. And Fromm, I think Fromm's going to probably have 200 yards passing. It's going to be the dink and dunk type things. He's going to take a couple shots downfield, but I think Georgia will come out 21-17. I would agree with that because
You sound so shocked.
No, I mean,
sounded like I'm going to agree with that, man.
But
I'm going to agree with what you just said. Can't believe I'm doing this right now.
But this is just, I've been thinking about this game, today especially. It's just been on my mind, going back and forth. I could see this be a shootout, but then I wouldn't. Like we still wonder, like, who is Bo Nix? He's going to be good in the coming years, but is he that good now? We've seen him take steps forward, like against my Ducks.
His grandma could sing, though. She was good with Fleetwood Mac, I'm telling you. No, it's
what kind of Bo Nix are you going to get? I think that's the thing. I think it's huge that he's at home. I think, and I think that crowd's going to be ramped up. Hey, Jordan Hare, it's always a party up there. But when you bring a team like Georgia, and especially Georgia, what it could mean for them when you're talking about the college football playoff, Auburn would love to play spoiler to that.
Well, and clearly when you have the name Bo at Auburn, named after Bo Wallace for Ole Miss, and when you are that person, I mean, geez, you gotta live up to the hype of what he did, as in that game. 850-623-1330 is the number. Looking at some of the people out there, look, Chase Young is one that did not get to play against Maryland, but have you seen this story today?
Yep.
That the possibility now, this isn't as hypothetical as, we didn't land on the moon, like somebody that shook Buzz Aldrin's hand, like, just get your hand off me. But, Chase Young, his high school football coach, add up the pieces. Which one of these just doesn't belong? Here it is. Elijah Brooks, the coach, who coached him in high school, is actually now on Maryland's staff. And 2 days before the game, there was a report sent out, anonymous report that nobody had sent out to them about this loan he got when he was coming over to the school. Like, he just got this cash from a friend.
It's weird.
Now, the friend also played football with this coach. So things were happened, and then but the big, I guess you could say, Edo Roll Tide speech moment would be Ryan Day and them finding out about this, because somebody knew. Because apparently somebody said in the locker room, they were around it, and there was a little extra juice to beat Maryland. And you saw the score was 73-14. They don't need brownie points right now. Ohio State's not one of those teams that needs brownie points. Oregon, Oklahoma, they could use it. Because our mindset, if Oklahoma would have gone around and beat Iowa State 48-7, people would have been like, all right, you know what, today it's going to be hard to leave them out. But they went in that play where Purdy, it looked like a Purdy big foul in the end zone right there, and he got hit. It looked like that should have been another play, maybe two, and Iowa State if they win that game. So we felt like Iowa State and Oklahoma were almost in the same playing field in that game. And that led to some controversy of why Oklahoma is really not even being talked about right now like some of the other teams with one loss. So the eye test for Ohio State didn't even have to be there. However, do you believe this guy? I mean, it sort of adds up that this guy would be the whistleblower. But, we have enough fake news, so I'm not going to say it's for sure. But we all assume on things. And in this assumption, I'm going to have to go out on a limb and say I'm leaning towards yes. It's just an assumption, but I'm leaning towards this. Not going to touch it. Just going to say he's not out for more than really this game. But this guy clearly didn't want Chase Young on the field.
And I think
why wouldn't you? I mean, I guess.
I think they really just don't need him until you talk about playoff time. I mean, when you look at
clearly 60-point win. I mean,
unless Minnesota comes rolling into the house, here we go. Watch out.
Best billboard material right there, where they just go right there with the gopher looking in. Did they play the music too? Dun,
I don't know.
dun.
See, I hope so. God, that'd be awesome.
Can you do that though? I know. Look, I got to sit in the booth right there with the PA guy for the Orlando Magic in a playoff game when they were playing the Boston Celtics. I remember at one moment he was like, watch this. This song has like a whistle to start. And I'm like, you can't play that, can you? He's like, no, obviously. But he was going to, like, there are songs you can't play, like guy dribbling down the court, like, all of a sudden, like a guy turns around, and then, like, Orlando is keyed in on it. Like, we're going to play this song with 3 minutes to go in the fourth, and he just, like, looks up and he steals it right from the refs. Like, we didn't blow it. That's inadvertent. Like, yeah. Those moments, you got to be careful of what you play. Fireable or just let it be right there when the Pittsburgh Steelers fight song, Black and Yellow, bum, 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 was played at the LA Chargers Stadium in front of 30 of their fans.
What? I mean, I think it's fireable, but at the same time, hey, those guys they're probably buying more beers now.
Those are the guys buying the tickets.
Now you feel like, hey, we're at home. These guys just played our song. Let's go buy another beer. And that's that $50 beer you got to buy at an NFL game.
They're supporting your stadium, the one for like another year right there. That is the support. When we come back, we'll talk some more of the big games coming up. We'll get to more of what a game last night. Monday Night Football. The 72 Dolphins pop bottles this morning. And you say, well, why this morning? Well, the game was past 7 p.m., and those guys by now, they had ate dinner, and they're all in bed. We're coming back for more right here. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Professional truckers, now is the time to try team driving with Schneider. Schneider team drivers have the highest earning potential in the fleet, the most miles, the newest equipment, including APUs and fridges, and a limited time sign-on bonus up to $30,000. Choose from new team dedicated accounts or rack up the miles with Schneider's nationwide team freight base. Need a partner? Use Schneider's team matching program. Team up and get your team sign-on bonus at Schneider. Check out SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
The Ice Flyers are hosting Mossy Oak Night this Saturday at 7:05 p.m. The team will be wearing Mossy Oak camo jerseys that the fans can buy. Everyone in attendance will also be able to win Mossy Oak prizes, including a $500 shopping spree. Then Sunday, the popular Friends and Family Night returns, where fans can purchase ticket packages valued at $241 for only $60. For tickets for Mossy Oak Night Saturday or Friends and Family Night Sunday, go to PensacolaIceFlyers.com/single-game tickets.
Saturdays are meant for sports, so Sports Call with Davis and Justin is here to kick off your sports weekend.
College football, the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, the PGA Tour. If it's happening on Saturday, we're talking about it.
Plus, weekly interviews with the players, coaches, and fellow journalists.
Be a part of the show by calling or texting in at 623-1330.
Sports Call with Davis and Justin, every Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced, free. Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free.
Call 1-800-253-7136.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-253-7136.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer.
Call 1-800-253-7136. 1-800-253-7136.
You wanted a toy at the store when you were a kid. Mom said no. You wanted a date as a teenager. The homecoming queen said no. Now, as an adult, you want a car. And all the dealers keep saying no. Finally, there's someone in Pensacola who will say yes. It's Gordon Auto Wholesale on Old Palafox, just 1 block south of Airport Boulevard. Now with a huge selection of third-row SUVs in stock. No credit, bad credit, repos, no problem. Say yes to Gordon Auto Wholesale. Call them at 850-479-9200, 479-9200, and hear yes right now.
The Paul Feinbaum Show.
Everything you wanted to happen hasn't happened.
Oh, my gosh. That's all any of y'all want to talk about is Alabama.
You're really not understanding the conversation, but anyway, we can move on.
Bama's dynasty has just begun.
Hold on a second, Charles. Somebody wants to talk to you.
I don't want to talk to that compelling moron.
He's nothing but a lame-headed old man.
2 till 5 every weekday afternoon. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're out of your freaking mind, cow turd.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station, your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here. ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV, Chad Brillante, Jeff Price with you. You know, we're going to get into the Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49er game. Great game last night if you were a fan and stayed up for it. Some mistakes, but it had, the mistakes on one side are the great defensive plays on the other. Maybe if you own one of the teams in fantasy football. But it was a classic battle, back and forth. You had a clear shank. By the way, have you seen the video of the people standing inside the tunnel, Jeff, that saw that? How embarrassing was that? By the way, there were people in the tunnel, the medical equipment bags, and the people on the side way away from the scene over where Mike the Tiger and Bevo stand so nobody gets hurt, where the cannons go off in Texas A&M, way over there, back yonder. And the ball was shanked so badly that it almost hit a couple of them. They have their bird's eye view of the guy, whoa, where did that come from right there? Guy just kicked it for the game. Oh, okay, well, that sucks.
Wait, an NFL guy kicked that?
How embarrassing. First off, though, and he wasn't even your normal everyday kicker, but that's pretty rotten right there, especially when he was 3 cheers for him making the ball to go to overtime. They were giving him some props.
Yeah.
And, it's like the reverse Dumb and Dumber. And then you do that, and you totally blow it. You had that moment, and you just completely ruined every image to keep your season alive. It wasn't just a game either. It's against your rival, but it wasn't just a game. It was to keep the perfect season alive. It was to have an opportunity to beat maybe the kicker going forward and not get cut and back on your couch. A lot of things could have gone his way. But kudos to Russell Wilson and the victory. And it's so funny in sports how one or two plays can change the whole outcome of how we perceive people. Think about Tuck Rule, and I'd bring that. You guys he would bring that up, right? If that doesn't happen, who knows about the legacy? Who knows what happens? There are moments that always change the dynamic of sports going forward. And for the situation last night, if Russell Wilson on that pick that was run back right there in overtime, they already had 3 points for sure, but if he doesn't throw that pick and they don't run that ball back all the way to the 45 and then they miss the kick, if he makes the kick, we're looking at, Russell blew it. Not the MVP anymore, man. He just ruined it. He had the perfect drive, and you can't float that ball, dude. Hollister, who's that? My kid buys his shirts. But, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they get a chance. And he makes the best of it. And he's the one that made that huge third down play. It was Russell. Every day he's wrestling. Made that huge 20-yard gain and got them in position for the win. So, Russell, good guy. He's predicting soccer scores. He got that perfect, 3-1. I don't know how he did that. Predicting soccer is not easy, even one goal. And it was a good football game, but it doesn't change my mindset that Seattle still has some problems, that it looks like Tyler Lockett is not going to be healthy. He had some swelling going on where he was rushed to the hospital, and he's their number one. Now that Doug Baldwin's back here at Gulf Breeze, he's on the sidelines for the high school not too long ago, they need him. And I just don't think right now there's a legit top-tier team in the NFC. There's a lot of good teams. Saints are still there. They had a bad week, but I'd still put the Saints. But this is one of those Scooby-Doo kind of weeks where when you have the Saints, you have the Seahawks winning, and then you have the San Francisco 49ers losing, and then you have Green Bay with that close win. Those teams at the top, you're sort of sitting here. Minnesota beats Dallas, but are we ready to say Minnesota's the best team? It's just going to be really tough to predict who's going to win the NFC this year.
Yeah, and we talked about it over and over. Russell always has one of these games, and that's what I was talking about yesterday. I thought the 49ers were going to win, but it wouldn't have surprised me, if what happened. Now, with the 49ers, you look at that game last night, they just came out on fire. But that's what you expect at home. Levi Stadium was rocking and everything, and I agree with you though. The 49 or the Seattle Seahawks, who's their number one receiver now? DK Metcalf? And he's a fantastic receiver.
And kickboxer, it looks like, in Russia or something. You wouldn't want to fight that guy.
But he's not a number one.
Yeah.
He's...
You want to tell him that?
No, absolutely not. That's why I'm way over here.
Hey, DK, yo.
No, and you even picking up Josh Gordon, and that's all well and good, but Josh Gordon's not.
Yeah, he's still hazy.
He's still hazy. He only played I don't think 15 snaps last night anyway, but he had 2 big catches. Regardless, Russell, even if he doesn't get Lockett back for a few weeks, I think they're going to be okay. They're still in really good position now. 7-2, and you just look at them and you're like, okay, cool. This is the typical Seahawks team that you look at their roster and you're like, how have they won that many games? But they just keep winning. But for the 49ers, I tell you what, after watching last night, I know they lost. I'm a believer. I mean, they're just good. They faced a lot of. I hate this word because people use it all the time. Adversity, because true adversity is like beating cancer. Mm-hmm. It's not like a football game.
That's a valid point that I hope nobody would argue. I hope nobody. I'm gonna disagree with that. Be like, well, really? Let me hear. No, I would not.
But when you look at that roster. Mm-hmm. Emmanuel Sanders and stuff goes down. If he doesn't go down and guys like that, they didn't route without George Kittle, which is a huge part of their offense, by the way. And you can say, oh, well, they still got to play. Yeah, but when you take the team at their best, let's look at all these teams when they're at their best. The 49ers, if you're a big 49er fan, you're not losing any sleep. No. Like, you'll be just fine.
And look, Stephen A. Smith, first off, when we say these things, regardless, Rush, we actually, for a day, there's a station at the old 94.5, we in 94.5, and now it's Christmas music. It's jamming to Christmas music, by the way, getting you in. So if you want some chestnuts roasting or some eggnog, fa la 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 la, 94.5 right now. One of our sister stations is playing Christmas music right now throughout the holidays. But one of the times we were going through and they were transferring over to 99.1 and 1330, so now we have a signal all the way from New Orleans to almost Panama City. And when we were making that transition, I remember that we had somebody leak it over from Panama City that pretty much was on a huge radio signal that was playing Rush Limbaugh, and people were like, man, get this off. I don't want to hear Limbaugh right now. And I'm like, first off, I have no clue what's happening. Like, I was actually at an appointment, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I realized, okay, we're going to be down for like 30 seconds, and it's coming back up. So, but I'm sitting there, and some people are like, oh, I hate this man. And I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, you can hate it, but Rush Limbaugh really, the more hate that you guys have, the more followers, and the more money he makes, because the guy's worth more millions than anybody right now in radio. Stephen A. Smith, I don't agree with his opinion always. He's engaging, I'll put it that way. Got to do a show with him when he was down here in Pensacola. But it's something where he's going to make $8 million now per year. He just passed Mike Greenberg for the wealthiest guy in Bristol. And he comes out, though, and says, Jimmy G. He probably said it like, first off, he probably was like, well, Jimmy G is like a brother to me. Me and him go back. But I'm telling you, if you don't agree for 1 second with me right now, and then you're like, okay, all right, now I'm like, whoa, easy. But then when Stephen A. Smith goes, he said Jimmy G right now is like the one that is hurting the Niners. He said that if Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't there, they would be a better team. And I'm going, no. Bless your heart, my friend. No, I'm not gonna go with that because
that's fake news.
It's clearly fake news because guess what? When Nick Mullins and whatever the crap was out on the field last year, there were 3-13 with a lot of the Bredas and all those other guys that now all of a sudden you're like, they're very good. You still had George Kittle. You still had all those guys. You still had the offensive line. You did add Bosa and a couple guys like Sherman, but however, Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy. He didn't have his best game yesterday, but he's clearly making them better. This guy is 16-3 now as a starter in his career. He clearly is making them. To say he's the one hurting San Fran, come on, man. Like, seriously? Like, sometimes people say things that are so outlandish. Jimmy Garoppolo is not you take him off that field and you go with an average quarterback and, Lord help a lot of the teams that have that. Believe me, it'd be a lot different.
Well, yeah, maybe if he's hurting them if you had Aaron Rodgers as his backup. I get that,
Like, well, it's like when people were like, we want Tebow, man, in Denver. And I'm like, you just got Peyton Manning. Like, I don't care if you are. We love Tebow. You can have a poster. You can love what he's all about. But you got Peyton Manning back here. So, like, bye, Tebow. Like, it's
I love Tebow, too. And I loved him. But I was hoping, like, he'd go play fullback or, like, tight end or something.
But there wasn't an argument. It was Peyton Manning. And it's not the Ice Cold Budweiser 7-3 now. It's the real deal. So.
Well, the funny thing is, I remember going to the Senior Bowl and watching Tim Tebow play there. And when, his windup was forever. Like, I literally went and got my drink. I came back, and he was still, like, in the wind-up motion trying to throw down the field. He was actually on the ground, and his arm was still going.
Well, and I want to continue this conversation. We do have Will Kennedy, the voice of UWF, who will join us coming up here in just a few minutes from now. It's all coming back on this Tuesday edition of the Sports Drive.
Imogen and I started Jewelers Trade Shop in 1956.
Our goal at Jewelers Trade Shop has always been to give our customers the best experience imaginable. It's something that my grandfather instilled in my father, and without a doubt, my father has passed on to me. Those basic core goals and values that shaped our business 56 years ago are still very much alive and a driving force behind Jewelers Trade Shop today.
For 3 generations, the story continues. Jewelers Trade Shop in downtown Pensacola.
Regions wants to know, what's a financial tip you'd give your younger self?
You're never too old to get the band back together.
Regions has the tools and tech to manage your money according to your priorities. Enjoy digital tools, innovative ATMs, and customizable security features, all with the kind of financial clarity your younger self could only dream of.
Negotiate your salary. You're worth every penny.
Because some things are bigger than banking. Switch for good at regions.com/biggerthanbanking. Regions, official bank of the SEC. Member FDIC.
I'm Mina Kimes, host of the new podcast, ESPN Daily. Each morning, we'll bring you a deep dive into a single story from one of ESPN's hundreds of reporters. ESPN Daily is brought to you by Indeed, helping over 3 million businesses worldwide find their newest star players. Post job openings with skills tests. Then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Sprint to Indeed.com/ESPN Daily and find a winner. Terms and conditions apply.
As buzzer beaters ring throughout the nation.
This one's good if it goes. Oh, dude! Oh,
you want an all-access pass inside the madness?
And that means one thing. Basketball, basketball, basketball.
For 3. Yes!
It's Seth Greenberg. It's Daniel J. Dockich, and this is the world's greatest podcast.
Check out the Courtside with Greenberg and Dockich podcast. You can listen or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
From the all-time leading running back Emmitt Smith to Hall of Fame linebackers like Derrick Brooks, Pensacola is full of NFL legends. Well, how about joining some of the NFL legends every Sunday down at World of Beer, 200 South Palafox, for your ESPN Pensacola NFL tailgate party? It all gets kicked off at 10 o'clock. Stay around for the best games, prizes, and more at your favorite destination. It's the NFL Tailgate Show on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Something about marching bands playing like any song, to get you in the mood. Like, imagine like you had a really crappy week. Your team might have lost like a big game in college football or something. Could have happened this week. And you're like coming to work and you hear this.
You played 3 songs yesterday of Washington's.
I did
marching
on
band.
accident,
I have
clearly.
No respect
Okay.
for you.
On that note, joining us now, you can hear their marching band as they march into the stadium and they do a great job. The UWF band doing a great job this season for a team that has won now 7 of their last 8. Tough loss, but battled it out in Valdosta. The voice of the UWF Argos joining us now, who when you come into a segment with them playing you in like this. Will Kennedy joins us here. Will, what's happening, my friend?
How are you, my man? You know what? We actually have a battle of the bands on tap because I understand West Alabama, I was just told this morning, is going to bring their band down for the regular season finale, the home finale in the regular season. So we're going to have our band and their band kind of catty corner from each other, and we'll see if they have one of those band offs.
I actually tried to convince the teacher. I was losing my baseball scholarship, and I said I played one hell of a triangle, and they didn't allow me to join the band. I was just saying I could have been the guy in the back, like da-da-da-da-da, ding, but they apparently did not need that guy, Will. So I did not get that.
Should have gone with cowbell, Chad.
That's right. Everybody can use a little more cowbell, Will. And, I look at UWF, and they could have used a teeny bit more cowbell this week against Valdosta. But I'm telling you, it was a great comeback. And that's one thing with Coach Shinnick's teams throughout the year is even in the game against Texas A&M Commerce in that national title game, every time it looked like it was over, they would battle back and keep them in the game. And that just goes to – not only him, but their coaching staff across the board and the culture that exists at UWF is they're never out of any game, regardless of score. It was a loss, but that was the number 1 team in the country on the road. So kudos to great battle. You were there. Tell us a little more on the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, Coach Pete Shinnick always has that ability to stay calm and to keep his troops calm no matter kind of what the situation. And obviously we had him coming off the field before halftime, had our interview with him. You could tell he's a little bit tense, a little bit terse, and it was bugging him a little bit. But he never really betrays that. And he gets the kids to focus on what they need to at halftime and come right back out. And, we knew Saturday night that we were going to get the football back to start the second half. And, you want to talk about pressure on a drive. You got to come out of the locker room down 20-0 and find a way to score. Not just put points on the board, but to score a touchdown. We drive right down and do that. And really, the cliche is it was a tale of two different halves, really two different games in half. And it really was the case Saturday night because we dominated Valdosta State, the number one team in the country, in that second half. Just didn't do enough in the first half. And really, that's kind of been, if there is an Achilles heel, that's kind of been the Achilles heel for this team is there have been some slow starts. And to be honest with you, that game against Valdosta, we could have been down 40-0 at half. We're kind of lucky to be 20-0. As weird as that sounds, our defense held them twice to field goals when they had the ball inside the 5-yard line. What I like about it is, though, you're probably going to have to go through Valdosta to get where you want to be, which is back to that national championship game. And now you have some confidence to say, hey, we know we can go up there and we can play. If we play a little bit better, we can beat them.
See, look, Will, you broke down two games. You broke down that, and for all the Alabama fans out there listening, see that I'm sure they're like, I don't want to hear that. Looking at the game, though, they now play against the team in West Alabama. They'll be back home. We'll be out there having some fun again. Will was trying to walk into the stadium last week, and I'm like, come on, Will, you have nothing. You're not going to talk for 4 or 5 hours. Just kind of, he's like, all right, I'll do this. So we had fun out there and enjoyed it, but we'll be back out there. It's a home game to end the season. But I want to break this down because we do a lot of confident cliches with local teams, our high schools and stuff, but everything trying to keep positive. But at the same time, people want to know the stats. They want to know the facts. If they win this game, they're in. But if they lose this game, Will, they're still probably in the playoffs, correct? Or do they have to win this?
No, I think, we feel like the way things are shaking down, this is a must-win game. So for all intents and purposes, this is a playoff game. And the reason I say that is because, people will look at the national rankings and they'll say, oh, you're ranked 20. We only fell 2 spots from 20 to 22. Losing to the number one, the defending national champs. So, yeah, you're ranked in the top, 20, 25, and you're 7-2 and 6-1 in conference and all that kind of stuff. And there will be teams in the playoffs who are 7-3 with a 6-2 conference mark if we lost, heaven forbid, lost this last game. But we sit right now 6th in the regional rankings. You got to be in that top 8. And I think a loss in that last week against the West Al team that is 6-4, but their conference mark is bad. They haven't been. They were preseason, top 25 early season, but they just haven't been good really over the course of the season. So that would hurt. I guess there's always a way it could happen, but you figure if other teams won, you would fall out of that top 8. So really, I know Coach was telling me yesterday, this is a must win.
Hey, Will, it's Jeff. Just a question, for those that, you saw UWF go to the national championship a few years ago, and we didn't really, I guess, expect that. It was kind of like, wow, here they are, and really once they got to the playoffs, everybody was like, all right, let's get behind these guys, and they just kept winning, somehow found a way to keep winning. And this year's team, it just kind of feels to me like this is a team, maybe they just keep winning, they just keep finding ways. At the beginning of the season, we were like, oh, maybe, they lose that first game or whatever, and now they've just continued to get hotter and hotter. And I know that Valdosta State, you look at how they came back. I think the way they came back means a lot. But if you would, do you see a comparison to these, the national or the semi-national championship team there to this year's team?
Yeah, maybe a comparison in that if you can get hot at the right time. And this is a team, obviously, you mentioned the Carson Newman game. They're a weird team to play first week of the season, Thursday night game, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that was an odd game, and they lose that one in a close one. Another game they really had a shot to win. They ripped off 7 straight before losing to the number one team in the country at their place, one of the toughest places to play. This is a team that's perfectly capable of going on that kind of run and winning the next 7 games, which will take us into next season and would mean a national championship, which is what you want. I think the big difference is this, even from last year, and a team that was ranked 2 in the country to start the season, you have to look back at last year and remember, by the time we played Valdosta last year, we're on our 6th and 7th quarterback. We got running backs and receivers taking snaps at QB. I mean, it's been an absolute, shell game thing, just moving people around, trying to keep somebody healthy to take snaps. This team is so different from last year and so different from 2017 in the depth that they have literally at every position across the board. Defensive line, linebackers, DBs. The offensive line is so experienced together. That group that kind of, took them in 2017 to the championship game is now a bunch of seniors across that front offensively. Running backs, we got 4 guys. Receivers, we probably go 8 or 9 deep. And then really, what you had happen was you had this kid, this redshirt freshman transfer, Austin Reed, the quarterback, kind of come out of nowhere and really has been the leader, offensively, especially on this team. And it's the kid that should be the GSC Freshman of the Year. And really, if it wasn't for the kid Rogan Wells over at Valdosta, would probably be the Player of the Year.
Speaking with Will Kennedy, the voice of the UWF Argos, as they get set to go their final game of the regular season, and perfect weather for football. You can get out there, enjoy the refreshments, and yeah, you laugh. You're in a heated. You will be inside, so I know they got good heat over there. Quincy Steer Paces Bills at Blue Wahoo Stadium. It'll be fine there, but it should be one of those kind of games where it could be a little chilly, yeah, for sure. But it's going to be awesome because it's a final game in a great atmosphere and a good opportunity. It could be Green Bay right now, that game against Carolina. So think about that. Will, just talk about the emotions and how important it is for the crowd and the people to be out there supporting it, because that does mean something. Look, if you're a school in an SEC school, on a bad day, you're still going to get 70, 80,000 if you're one of the top-tier schools. We need everybody out there, and they get a lot of support, but if we can put another 1,500 people out there, bring extra people around for this home game, that's, like you said, pretty much a playoff game against a conference foe. That would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing. Playoff-type atmosphere. If you could bring some of that sun and that warmth back, that would help. If it's like tonight and tomorrow night, it's going to be a long day, a long evening. But no, it's our Salute to Service game, which is awesome. This is kind of something we started and has now become quickly one of our favorite home games of the year. This is where we honor active duty, retired military, our first responders. We're going to have folks from the Army and the Air Force out there and the Sheriff's Department. They're going to bring all the cool toys and trucks and vehicles out there ahead of time so our fans can bring the kids out. You can climb on the stuff, and they've got demonstrations and all that good stuff going on. And then really cool pregame, we kick at 4, 3:45, we are going to have the Golden Knights, the U.S. Army skydiving parachute team. They're going to parachute in and drop the game ball off right there in the middle of Blue Wahoo's stadium on the field. So that's going to be really cool. So it's really a way to honor the men and women that serve this nation, and then also kind of carry that into the game. So we're going to have a lot of military folk in the stands as well. And we want to encourage, all the local people to come out. I mean, it's downtown Pensacola, come out, enjoy yourself before the game, after the game, 4:00 kick, all that kind of stuff. And absolutely, the kids feed off of that. And having that emotion in the building, obviously they're going to generate a lot of their own emotion. They understand what's on the line. But I think, you guys have touched on it here. I think every once in a while we have to step back and appreciate the fact that this is just the 4th season for this program. And you're talking about a team that goes to the national championship game in just their 2nd year of playing football. And now we literally at a point in year number 4 where we're expecting year in and year out to compete for a playoff spot, and here we are sitting and talking about, hey, is this team capable of making a run back to that title game? Are they capable of winning a national championship? And the answer, I think, is yes and yes. And I don't think people understand this is not the normal in the 4th year to be at this level, and that is a testament to Coach Pete Shinnick and to the staff and the players he's recruited, the university, athletic director Dave Scott, President Martha Saunders, former President Judy Betts. We could go on, but it just doesn't happen this way. Sometimes we get jaded to, winning and expecting to win, and we maybe don't show up. I think, you got to show up because this is a big deal.
It's an incredible deal. No team had even made the postseason in 2 years as a program, and they get there and they said, we're okay. Let's just go reel off 4 underdog victories and go all the way to the national title game. So that's how good this team is, and they've been there, done that before. They're confident, and it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Like you said, Will, a lot of the sheriff's office will have all those toys and gadgets out there. We had some fun one day using them all. I made them laugh a few times, and they cut my bill in half after using them. So it was pretty cool. It was awesome overall. So you can always have a fun time with everybody out there and having fun. So we're looking forward to it.
Maybe we can set it up to have you taste.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
That's called Friday or Saturday night downtown. I think
who would donate money to charity to see that?
I'll throw out the first $50 right there.
Just to get a couple cervezas. I mean, we don't have to try to plan this here. But hey, Will, it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to the game. I won't bring up anything that the Astros are now in the same boat as New England about tapes. Let's go ahead and move on. No.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, and by the way, just real quickly, a bunch of other stuff going on. For the folks out there that are interested in some of the other sports, always go to goargos.com.
Mm-hmm.
But the Gulf South Conference soccer tournament, Pensacola Sports is the host for that. It's going on at Ashton Brosnahan Park over there, kind of North Pensacola. The first games are today at different sites, but then it'll pick up Thursday through the weekend. So all the GSC soccer men and women will be here. Our volleyball team is going to host the tournament. They are undefeated in conference play. That's the 22nd through the 24th out at the Fieldhouse. And basketball is kicking up too. I think we've got our in-school game where the women play, and we bring in like 800 elementary school students to the Fieldhouse for a field trip. It's going to be wild. It's one of the loudest events of the year, and it's super cool. So it's a great time right now on campus in general.
Awesome time. And people don't understand that even before UW football, sports across the board were winning championships. So it's not just a product of, hey, we got a local team. They're a bunch of winners. I mean, the soccer team was unbeaten pretty much through the entire regular season last year in women's soccer. And, the tournaments they do over there, Pensacola Sports and Ashton Brosnahan, it's huge. I was talking to Ray Palmer about it. How many people they get to that event is huge. It's one of the biggest events you get in soccer in any of the Division II areas at all. And so there's a ton of things happening. And Will, we appreciate you being the voice, stepping up, and having some fun with us here on a Tuesday.
Absolutely. 3:30 will be on the air right there, ESPN Pensacola 99.1, 13:30 a.m. on Saturday. That's the pregame show, and kickoff will be a few minutes after 4. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, guys. Go Argos.
Thank you. We'll appreciate it. When we come back, we'll talk a little more about the big games coming up here tonight. We got MAC football going on. How about that? Look at that right there. And, to a couple points here. A lot of people, this is that let's get real moment. If you're going to be a UWF Argonaut fan, that's okay. You might be saying, it's Georgia Auburn. That's the oldest rivalry in the South, right? That's huge, right? They've got the TVs down there. Like Cox Cable's got the TVs down inside that area where you can lounge. You can get inside the stadium and watch like 4 or 5 different games going on. So I want to make that clear to everybody is if you're not going because you feel like you don't want to miss the 2:30 SEC kickoff, which I get last week was LSU and Alabama at that time. If you don't want to miss that, you can still go to the game, enjoy a fun time, socializing with a friend, watch football, and still also watch all those games. That needs to be made clear because I've talked about 50 people that said, man, I'd love to go, but I'm not going to miss this game, and that's okay. You don't have to. You can watch that and still be there to support your team.
And if you've never been to a UWF game before, you've been to maybe a Blue Wahoos game, please go. And this is the Salute to Service game.
It's a lot of fun, yeah.
We're a military town. But you're talking about the West Alabama game, and then now you're talking about a playoff atmosphere for this. This is a must-win game for them. This is the game to go to if you've never been to one. Find a way in your schedule. I know we got big games this weekend, but support your local team because we just don't understand how special we are to have UWF, period, much less the football team like that.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll get some more on the Monday Night Football. We'll also talk about the college football playoff, which is now right around the corner. And
more action?
How about that? Or Cam Newton from, wearing clothes made of bearskin maybe to the possibility of being a bear. We'll see. Coming back for more, it's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Hey sports fans, we know that we all fumble now and then when we're headed for the end zone, and our vehicles are no exception. Next time your bad ride is a little offsides, take it to Amco Transmission, your total car care facility. And with no interest financing, even with less than perfect credit, you'll drive away feeling as if you caught the winning touchdown. You always make the right play when you take your vehicle to Amco Transmission on Davis Highway, just south of Airport Boulevard. Visit them on Facebook or call 800-GO-AMCO. AAMCO.
Well, you want to see a Broadway show, but New York City just isn't in the cards.
Broadway's coming to you! Get your tickets now for the 2019-2020 Broadway season at the Sanger Theater. See amazing Broadway touring shows like Jersey Boys, Cats, The Color Purple, Beautiful, An American in Paris, and Waitress for a third of the cost you would pay on Broadway. See actual Broadway shows right here in downtown Pensacola. Get all the details at PensacolaSanger.com.
professional truck drivers. Don't play roulette with your driving career when you can step up to stability with Schneider. As other trucking companies fold or fade, Schneider keeps expanding opportunities for drivers. Solidify your future now with unlimited driving options, from local to long haul, including new dedicated accounts and high-earning tanker and team driver options. Get more with dependable weekly paychecks and leading driver benefits. Search your zip code and find what you want at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
Where every day is Saturday and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Welcome to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Pensacola's home to the best talk in sports, new and improved. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 and FM 99.1.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola, 1330.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. You can also check us out on Alexa. We are now on Alexa, too. I'm a 34-year-old man, and that is like trapped in a 90-year-old human, you know. First off, by the signs of out of nowhere, my tooth chipping, and because I was chewing my nails. That's actually why. But my tooth chips, and then I've got gout forming after not supposed to.
And we just lost people.
And we lost people. Listen, this is obviously, now we've turned into one of those commercials for like those, you know, if you have to take these pills for their foot fungus. No. Well, all this being said, though, it is, I don't know the whole, like I know how to use Alexa and those Siri and all that, but are you the kind of person that like still types, like I will be there at this time for a meeting, or are you like, bing, 2:30 appointment, like text to type kind of thing? You use that? I need to.
Yeah.
It's there. I mean, I don't know why I don't, but I'm just not good with that. I still deposit my checks at the bank. Like, I don't actually like the one you scan and swipe.
Oh, I do that. Yeah. I just don't trust. You know, there's certain things you trust. And, you know, people are talking about, well, you know, they're listening to your conversations. Listen, they're listening to everything. And no, we're not going to be able to stop them. But you talk about depositing a check or something. No, I'm not going to take a picture of my check. And it may be perfectly safe. I'm just paranoid. Like, I do things that I should be paranoid about, but then I don't do things that I probably shouldn't be.
You've seen the things I say on air. I
Yes.
say them and then think of the consequences later.
We're going to break you, but uh-oh.
Remember in the airport who I said I might have been in there? I was like, that was the one time when I said that. I was like, I need to clear the airwaves. They're listening here.
Yep.
Like, the choppers are flying on our roof as we speak. The situation, though, with Cam Newton to Chicago. I want to talk a little bit about this. Chicago is a little bit too cold to be wearing like spandex, so I don't know if that would fit his game, but not on the field either. But I look right now, and he's still got a little left in the tank. I think it's a temporary feeling if he is. It's like a Jimmy Buffett song. He's not their long-term answer because Chicago's got good enough defense. They've spent enough money where they can win. I mean, you got guys all over that field on defense that could play. Eddie Jackson, Clinton Dix, Khalil Mack, but Akeem Hicks. We'll talk more on the break, but yes or no, real quickly on the surface, Cam to Chicago, good move.
Not a good move.
Okay, fair enough. Better than Trubisky, that's all I'm going to say. Coming back for more, it's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Football is here. Catch all of the UWF Argos games and the big NFL games every Saturday and Sunday on Pensacola's home for hometown sports. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. If you would like to be a part of ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000 or visit our website at espnpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up in the second hour, we're going to talk a little more on the College Football Playoff Committee's decision. We'll also get to more on, Clyde Edwards-Helaire right there, talking about how he was too small to play and was larger than life with 4 touchdowns this week. Brandon Spikes on Tom Brady and Tim Tebow playing with 2 Hall of Famers at their job and saying how they're different. It's all coming back right here on the second hour of the Sports Drive.
Down the sideline for the touchdown, his third of the day. Doug Baldwin. Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba.
Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Sports Drive goes now. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast on Blab TV each and every day across 4 states, having some fun with you. You can always be part of the show. 850-623-1330 is the number as we take a look here at the score. Our Pick'ems contest right now is Auburn and Georgia this week. It's the 2:30 SEC game right there. And this is the type of time of the year where these games pretty good. If you look at Auburn, Georgia, oldest rivalry in the South there. You got the matchup last week with LSU, Alabama. The week before, you had Florida battling it out with LSU. You've had the games with LSU and Auburn. Florida and Auburn every week, a huge game, and this one should be no different. Georgia, an early 2-point favorite, and we have a number of people texting in, and you can text in as well as we've got 33-26 Georgia. That's Patrick coming in. Jesse with 27 Auburn. Georgia 26. Some of the scores coming in, so you can weigh in as well. So just go ahead and weigh in our text line, and we'll get to those texts and get you the winner. Jesse actually picked up today the winner. It's a $25 gift card to Calvert's, nice restaurant right there on Scenic Highway, and a chance for 2 free hours with 2 people at the Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. All you have to do is send in your picks, 850-623-1330, with the Auburn and Georgia matchup with your name on it, and you win right there. And there you go. What's your early lean on that one, Georgia or Auburn? We'll make our picks Friday, but is there one team? My early lean is they're getting more and more confident, and Jake Fromm's throwing the ball better. So you start shaking your head like he hasn't given an answer yet. Oh, Jake Fromm. Okay, yeah, Georgia. I would go right now. Currently, I think Georgia's a better football team. I think they win that game in a close one, 24-20, something like that. Auburn's good. Auburn's defense is good enough to keep them in every game. Think about it. They lost LSU by 3 points. And, yeah, it wasn't as close, but it was still a 3-point game at the end. They lost to Florida in a game they led in the third quarter. Going into the fourth, then all of a sudden they took an early lead, and then that 80-yard touchdown by Pirine changed the whole dynamic of the 24-13 game. But Auburn's been in every single game they played this year, and now they're at home in the big game, the War Eagle. Everybody having fun.
That was a good eagle.
Thank you, by the way. I practiced my eagle in front of the mirror. My daughter sings Moana, and I go in there. She's like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" "None of your business." So, yeah, that was not as good of an eagle right there. So I think we've got some more coming in. 24-20. We've got Ethan has picked Georgia right there in the game. So he's got Georgia 24-20. Thank you, Ethan. Who do you like as your early lead in this one?
I like Georgia, and I think Georgia's the better team when you look at top to bottom. That doesn't mean anything. You look at Auburn, it's always really tough at home. Auburn has a fantastic defense. I just think it comes down to what kind of Bo Nix are you going to get. And that's why if I had to pick a score, I would just say Georgia 21, Auburn 10.
Yeah.
But I can, and that's just me throwing it out there because I just think that Nix is going to struggle a little bit. And that's credit to Georgia's defense. Regardless, I struggle to pick Georgia by 11 points. But I just feel like this is such a huge statement game for Georgia, and they know what's at stake. They're just not going to let this one get away.
I think it's, Georgia's getting better, and it took a little time because what people don't understand with Georgia is they didn't lose one. By the way, how many people watched that play in Kansas City last week, and you're like, man, Tyreek Hill, whoa, Hartman right there. That's the guy Georgia lost. That guy. Imagine he just did that to a decent Tennessee defense. Decent. I mean, they're not great this year. I gave you a little props. They're not that good. They're actually not good at all. But at that moment, though, he just coasted by everybody. And he's a really legit player out there. They got him and DeMarcus Robinson from Florida. Both those guys legit. I mean, Kansas City, Andy Reid knows who he's getting. He's getting guys, okay, get the ball into these speedsters' hands and let them fly. Patrick Mahomes will hit them. He knows what to do, and then let them go and then have ketchup on their hash browns and eggs afterwards. With
Mahomes doesn't have to look. He just throws it, and it makes him look good because those guys are so quick. They can literally throw it in the third row behind the end zone, and Hardeman will go run it down and then toss it back. Yeah, it's just one
You're
of those
starting
things.
A team right now, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson?
For all we know, like with all we know now.
Right now, all we know now, yeah.
Russell Wilson.
Okay, I'm going Patrick Mahomes still. I'm not going to lose sight of, that's a toss-up. I mean, they're
I'm just going with, look,
No,
if I have
right.
to start a team, you're talking about I'm putting my money out there, I'm going with the guy that I know is a proven winner.
I would hope that with all this being said, you would still go Brady or Breeze or Rodgers for this year.
Who was that first guy?
All right,
who was that?
Jeff, I
Teddy
appreciate you being
Bridgewater?
on the show today. Thank you for your time, by the way. Thank you. It was fun. But no, I would hope. Can we stop with the whole not you, but I mean, can we stop with did you watch? I love when people go, did you watch Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady? And be like, okay, so we're going to disregard from the record the other 8-0 games where they beat teams and dismantled them by 30 or 40 with Tom Brady making plays. Why do we can make any type of argument for whatever we want. That's the thing that's about sports is we can make whatever argument we want to, and that's how, especially in college football, because one game can get you eliminated. So right now everybody's like, LSU is way better than Alabama, and you're sitting there going, oh, seriously? We got the pick'ems in front of us, and most of you, and I also did, as I wear my shirt today here, clearly on the wagon, but telling you, if you're an Alabama fan, or even not an Alabama fan, how many pundits and everybody did you hear from going, well, the Alabama's just a better overall team at home. They don't lose. I even dropped the whole Nick Saban has 4 home losses and 5 championships in his 13 years at Alabama. That's pretty sweet.
You did drop that.
I did drop that. Now it's 5-5. Now it's equal. It doesn't look as cool now. But, Jeff, I'm telling you, you can slice it however you want. Georgia people right now could be like, they're playing their best football. Their defense just shut 2 teams out and just destroyed Florida. They're playing great football. We should be there tonight. And then somebody quickly could be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I agree with that. Remember that team that just lost to App State this week? They beat you at home, and you're like, oh, okay, crap. You can drop whatever bomb you want on people when it comes to the games in college or the NFL. Saints fans, hey, we destroyed teams with Teddy Bridgewater. Look how great we are. Yeah, but you got crushed by 1-17. All right. So the people that I'm tired of hearing, look at Lamar Jackson and Brady went straight up. That was a hostile environment in a game that Baltimore was up for huge. Lamar Jackson played an incredible game, and they're an incredible player. Brady had some mistakes. He made some plays, but let's not judge it all in one, because you can revert back to, hey, how did it taste when Lamar Jackson had negative 10 yards? This is not a joke. It sounds like a joke, but negative 10 yards passing going into the fourth quarter last year at home in a playoff game versus the Chargers. Negative 10 yards passing. And then you don't get points taken away for sacks in the NFL. That was a screen pass twice that got hit back. Like, he can run, but that was a record. And they didn't even want to put it on the screen. They're like, well, we're going to put this here. But no team's ever had negative yards passing as a quarterback going into the fourth and at a home playoff game. And then he put up some points, and it almost got close. Lost to Phillip Rivers and his happy feet. But, Jeff, let's not base it on 1 week. Let's look at the body of work. And if I'm still starting a team today, for this season alone, Patrick Mahomes is in my mix, but because he's proven in the big games and he just seems to be clutch. But I'm still going Brady, Breeze, or Rodgers, and you can't. To me, you can't go wrong with those guys.
Yeah, and people panic, and of course, you look at Saints fans, and if you're panicking as a Saints fan, then you're not probably you don't really know the Saints, I guess.
Who dat that's out there panicking like that?
Yeah, because if anything, and I know, I hate the people who are like, you know what, that loss made us better.
No, let's not go that. No.
But at the same time, I think it was a humbling loss for them because they've been riding this hot streak and everything. And I think the Saints are one of the best teams in the NFL by far.
Yeah.
They have a good defense and a good offense. Like, everything's clicking for them. It's just they kind of found that thing whenever Mark Ingram left. You kind of wondered how that was going to work. And Latavius Murray's done a really good job. Kamara is still Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Thomas is still Michael Thomas. Ted Ginn's out there. Ted Ginn will probably find a way to play till he's 62, just running straight down the field. But you look at the Saints, it's a terrible loss for them. You don't want to ever lose to the Falcons. That's one of your big rivals. But you just kind of had a feeling like the game was going to be weird. 1-7 team. And keep in mind, this is a 1-7 team that has Julio Jones and Matt Ryan and Devonta Freeman and all these kind of guys over there. So it wasn't like a true 1-7 team like the old Browns used to be.
Good point there. And that's what people need to understand is if you lose to like the Bengals, which got annihilated by 40 this week, you have Ryan Finley that really shouldn't be on a field right now. I mean, no offense. Seems like a nice guy, actually, but my sister-in-law goes to NC State, but she let me know when nobody was watching the same people and they beat UCF but her. It's like, thank you very much. You're not getting a Christmas card. But overall, it was one of those kind of things where if he should not be a starter, obviously. And I thought it was hilarious this week is like A.J. Green's like, I'm back. And then they're like, yeah, Finley's going to start and we're going to do this. And he's like,
my back. I said my back.
Ow.
My back, not I'm back.
Well, now your fingers hurt. Okay, well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers? Like, that moment right there was, he came back, and then all of a sudden, IR. Like, look, A.J. Green's a great player. One of the best receivers when he's healthy. But I thought that was hilarious. I was like, the one day they're like, hey, he's back. And I'm like, wait, who's starting? Back on the IR, why not? And they're winning the award right now. Dwayne Haskins and Washington, they just named Dwayne Haskins the starting quarterback for the year, so Washington is right on their trail for top-tier pick. They're both fighting for the ultimate Flamingo Lawn Dart Award right now for the worst team. But Bengals are in clear cut. I mean, the Dolphins are coasting now. Them and the Jets they have 2 wins. They're starting to get on a roll. I mean, this is Jets fans. I mean, they feel Sam Darnold feels like they got a shot at the playoffs right now. But the Dolphins do hold that tiebreaker right now with 2 wins. They're going to go for the playoffs.
I just want to get a quick thought from you.
Yeah.
You look at Dwayne Haskins, they name him a starter, for the rest of the year. what is your opinion on rookie quarterbacks like that are in bad situations when you just throw them out there? Well, do you think it helps or hurts in your opinion? If you have a guy like Haskins, who could or could not be your future quarterback, do you do that? Yes or no?
I'd say yes, but I just don't think Dwayne Haskins is a great quarterback. I mean, I'm not knocking him. I just don't think that he's an NFL quarterback. I've not seen anything from him that says he's going to get them better. You look at a guy like Jones out there, Daniel Jones. His team's getting beat, but he threw 4 touchdowns. He was trying.
Ripped a decent offensive roster.
You can't get the ball ripped out of your hands for a touchdown. You got to work on that. We were watching that game like, oh, crap, look at this one right here. Just literally got the ball ripped out of his hands and ran into the end zone. That's what you get in Pee Wee. That's what you pick up games at the park when you're 7. You're not NFL. That's not supposed to happen. Take a sack or something. Go down with them. You're 6'4", 230. Fall with the guy before trust fall. Don't actually allow him to rip the ball out of your hands. But that moment was pretty embarrassing. Overall, though, I think that there's a lot of quarterbacks that have bright futures. Josh Allen needs to work on his mechanics. I think with the right coach, like Joe Brady.
Mechanics?
Yeah. Well, he better get with Joe Brady. Like, I would pay Joe Brady like anything to work with me in the offseason and be like, please. Because Josh Allen is a very good athlete, but he on a screen throw, if screen pass, he'll airmail the guy by 5 yards.
Yeah,
so
you say that with the LSU jersey on. It's kind of ironic.
It's what it is. I do want to let you. The college football playoff rankings are now officially out for the top 4, and might surprise you guys a little. I'm just saying. We'll tell you who it is when we come back. It's a Sports Drive right here on ESPN. I just did that. Right here on ESPN Pensacola and Bluff TV.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
This is Tort Talk with personal injury lawyer Terrence A. Gross.
Lately, a lot of out-of-town lawyers have advertised here in Northwest Florida. I have practiced here for over 40 years. We now have 5 offices to serve the victims in the Panhandle: Pensacola, Navarre, Milton, Crestview, and Fort Walton Beach.
Tort Talk is brought to you by Terrence A. Gross. Call 434-3333 or check him out at grossandschuster.com.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is accepting applications for employment. Periodically, we have openings in sales, business, news, promotions, engineering, production, and programming. We'll keep your application for consideration when such an opening occurs. We also provide internships for qualified students. Apply online at ESPNpensacola.com or at our studios at 7251 Plantation Road behind University Town Plaza. ADX Communications is an equal opportunity employer.
Calling all Gator fans. Time to get down and dirty in the swamp.
Tony to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Here comes Ramoso, and the Gators win. Jordan Matthews is a postseason hero.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1 brings you Go Gators every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Go Gators on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1. Brought to you by the Holman Law Firm.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
I'm Little Teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Paul Feinbaum Show.
Everything you wanted to happen hasn't happened.
Oh my
my gosh, that's all any of y'all want to talk about is Alabama.
You're really not understanding the conversation, but anyway, we can move on.
Alabama's dynasty has just begun.
Hold on a second, Charles. Somebody wants to talk to you.
I don't want to talk that compelling moron.
He's nothing but a lame-headed old man.
2 till 5 every weekday afternoon. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're out of your freaking mind, cow turd.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Chad Brillante alongside Jeff Price having some fun with you. 850-623-1330. Caitlin doing a great job back at her studio. Ethan, all the folks back at Blab TV. Thank you guys for holding down the fort with all of our production. So the show simulcast each and every day from 5 to 7 and replayed midnight to 2 a.m. Now, Jeff, I look right now at the College Football Playoff Committee, and they made their selection. LSU checking in at number 1. Ohio State 2. No shock there, right? No.
Nope.
Disagreements here. Clemson 3. And then at number 4, the Georgia Bulldogs.
No, I'm good.
It's 2019. By the time I told people on break and we had 4 minutes of commercial, people are like, dude, I have a phone. They're like, we've already Googled it, but thank you. But yes, Georgia at number 4 and then Alabama number 5. Now, with this being said, they've got Oregon 6, Utah 7, Minnesota at 8, Penn State 9, and you've got a team in Oklahoma number 10. Florida checks in 11. Then you got Baylor way back yonder at 13. Now, Baylor's got the pecking order coming up with like Texas, Oklahoma, those games. So they can win, and they have a shot. If you go unbeaten in any Power 5 conference and you don't get in, like we put billboards up with fake titles and stuff. I was going to say. But I will praise, no matter who it is, if you go unbeaten and you are in a Power 5 conference team, mainly Power 5, like, okay, I'm just saying,
I'm on board.
If SMU or Memphis would have done it this year, I would have. With all that being said, if you're a Power 5 team, you go unbeaten, you have to get in. I mean, you really have to get in. If you don't, then there's something wrong. Now, Baylor and Minnesota will prove it because then at that point, they had beaten Ohio State, they'd beaten Iowa, they'd beaten Wisconsin. For Baylor, they had beaten Oklahoma. You had beaten teams like, Texas, so you would at least get a shot to prove that. I don't think they will. If you're a fan right now of Alabama that wanted to see you at number 4, the one team that you didn't mind seeing number 4 is Georgia. If you saw Penn State, which clearly the most broken part of this whole system is whatever guy gets paid to come up with the algorithms for the ESPN college football predictor here on the side. No joke. This week's All-State playoff predictor. Well, if you have All-State insurance, you might want to if they're giving you if they're like, well, we put this through our process and how much we can save you on your premium. They're like, we're done here. I saw your playoff predictor. So we're going to go ahead and take our talents over to like State Farm or Geico or someone else. Because if you're All-State right now, don't have a playoff predictor and have Penn State at number 4 on your playoff predictor, because that's what had happened this week is the All-State playoff predictor had Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, which makes sense. But then they had Penn State at number 4. So clearly either the person with All-State works for Penn State or went to Penn State or this whole entire thing is screwed up. So I would not put that All-State playoff predictor back out there because did you see that this week too?
Yep.
I saw that and I was like, this has got to be a joke, right? We were like, and we both, I think, saw it and we're like, yeah, let's just ignore that.
Fake news.
Like, ignore this fake news here on the side. They just lost to Minnesota straight up, and Minnesota's unbeaten, but Penn State has one loss, but you're going to put Penn State ahead of Minnesota? Like, that doesn't make too much sense right there. So Georgia, though, is the one team, if you're Alabama, you don't mind being there because if they beat Auburn, then that's not great. But it also, if they lose to LSU, then at the same time, then they're sitting there with 2 losses, and Alabama with 1 would have a better shot.
It only hurts you if they beat LSU, and then you talk about LSU would probably fall, depending on how the game went, but would probably fall to that
I agree.
4th spot or whatever.
If Georgia beats LSU, regardless, if Georgia was 12 today, which it does not matter at that point, if Georgia went out and they won the SEC title with 1 loss, and at that point LSU had lost the SEC title with 1 loss, and then Alabama didn't make the conference championship with 1 loss, Georgia for sure is getting in. They're going to get the highest of the seed, and then probably LSU, if there was a spot for the second SEC team, it would go to LSU. So that's pretty much that's clear. I don't even think there's an argument for that. That's what will happen. But for this week, though, if Auburn goes out and beats Georgia at number 4, all you've done is make Alabama look better in 2 weeks when they go in there and if they beat Auburn. So
way to go, Auburn.
Auburn's like, why can't we just be part of this? Why do we have to be the person that they're like, we want to be the one? They're like, they're just the one that like we either can help this team or help this team. Auburn, you're like, let's give us a little bit. Like, I've lived that life. It's not fun. Just like let's be the guy that we can win. And they've been that close. But LSU number 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, and Georgia number 4. What do you think the committee? Because clearly, I mean, look. This is why the committee comes out Tuesday. So over the next 4 or 5 days, all they do is talk about something that really is irrelevant until the final one. The only college football playoff, the only poll that means anything is the final one. So all of this is just
for our pleasure,
which is good. Yeah, it's for and
we
get extreme pleasure watching these on Tuesdays. I over the last couple Tuesdays, I've had a lot of pleasure watching these moments right here.
I thought you were talking the MAC games.
No, those are not pleasure. That looks hideous for the people in the stands, like the 20 people going in those games.
Well, I told you a second ago, if you're planning on maybe you're not at the Akron game yet against Eastern Michigan, which Eastern Michigan's winning, the 0-9 Zips. The tickets are still available for $2. Now that was before the game. They might be free now.
Is that the first time that? I think it is. It's got to be the first time that StubHub or Vivid Seats or any of those, the charge fee on them is more than the ticket. I was going to say the charge fee.
You know what, though? Akron may pay for your charge fee at this point.
Yeah, they might. We'll cut it in. They might do like one of those, the monthly packages that are like those $3 insider, but you have to buy the 2 years, 24 months worth. So they're like, well, it's a one-time payment of $49. Like, but you said it was $2 a month. I don't want to pay $49 today, but pay the $49 and get 2 years. Be like, but I just want this one article. I don't want. With all that, I think it'd be funny if somebody was like in Eastern Michigan in these games, be like, you have to buy seats until 2024 at $2 a piece for our next 18 home games here. And be like, I'm not going to go to one probably, but I might buy them for 2 as a joke, like a souvenir. You're that guy who just buys tickets to like.
Yeah, they send them to your house and you just never go. You just pin them up.
The guy that got conned, by the way, there was a guy, Georgia and Vanderbilt. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They got conned into it. He thought it was Georgia and Notre Dame tickets, which were going for like $1,000 a seat. So he was all excited. So he thought he was going to feel the excitement between the hedges against Notre Dame and going to have that. All of a sudden he walked in and he bought a allotment of like 20 of them. And he was like, all right, man. I was like, for like $50, bro. This site's so stupid. And they're like, yeah, dude, that helmet, they don't paint since it's like they don't have time to do the artwork, that's not the point of this. They're trying to take your money for the seats. They both have gold helmets, and you bought Vanderbilt tickets. So you got 50 tickets to Vanderbilt, Georgia. And he's
Congratulations.
Like, well, crap. He was probably Ricky Bobby's dad out front, like, $20 tickets. Like,
all 20 or $20 total.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't give that one away.
I'd be like, I'll buy a family 4-pack for whatever the spread is. Be like, all right, it's still $50 here. But I look at that game and say, Georgia. Auburn's obviously a huge game, and people are excited to watch it. But I'm a little surprised that Georgia got number 4. I know they're playing better football, but they're going against what we've heard the theory has been in the past of what has been the committee. Jeff, the committee always goes back and harps on, maybe they were sick of people making jokes about them. Maybe that was the case. Because remember, it's the in now, and what are 2 ways to get berated right now? If you put a team that has just been the loser this week, and no offense, I feel like it's a quick walk to the parking lot, so I should be safe. But Alabama losing that game, the feeling right now is they're not good. I mean, meaning from like currently today, the way that the country's looking is like Nelson from Simpsons, like, ha ha, like you lost that game. So people are not looking at them as one of the champion-type teams now, when clearly they are. I mean, clearly they're one of the top 4 teams in the nation. They probably still have the best roster in college football. But they slipped up. Right before halftime, LSU snagged a bunch of touchdowns. They made a lot of mistakes that Alabama teams do not make. There was 5 or 6 plays where you're like, Nick Saban, and you could tell he's either on like older, don't let him fool you with these 67 just for men and all that. Like he must be on some of the 67-year-old medication kind of thing, because he's a lot more smiley and okay about things. Some of those calls were, they had a chance to get the ball back, and they had 12 men on the field. On that big play right there. That was a pick. They had a pick. It would have changed the momentum, and they had 12 men on the field. Think about that. That's the ultimate Nick Saban science fair project erupter in your head right there, like the volcano. We're going to pour a little soda in this right here. Like that moment right there, and Nick Saban was like, okay. 12 men on the field for a substitution infraction, and you get a pick on that same play. Could have changed everything. Those are plays that you never see Alabama. That never happens to them. So they had a slip up. They still battled back, and they still almost won. They're a top 4 team for sure. But this week, I think the committee looked at that and said, yeah, you know what, we'll give Georgia this slot just because Georgia dismantled Missouri by 27-0. They look good right now, and Alabama, the people aren't feeling the flow.
Well, Kelly Bryant didn't play either for Missouri. Not that I would say it would make a huge difference, but, regardless, they were going to win that ball game. Let's just put it that way. And, Feinbaum made a good point, too, the other day that he was talking about with that LSU-Alabama game, was like you just said, just some weird things from Alabama you just haven't seen. You got to credit LSU. They played a heck of a game. They did what they had to do, and they won. Mm-hmm. But, it's just a different Alabama team. They're good. They're really good. No doubt they can score on anybody. But is that
the defense? It's the defense.
But is the defense good enough to win a national championship?
Yes, because I think LSU's the front runner, and they could have won that game. Yeah, they're good enough. For sure they're good enough, but I'm just saying, look at if Tua doesn't fall, there is enough plays. Like the Clemson versus Alabama game was a clear Clemson beat you. And if they played that game 10 times, Alabama could have won some, but Jeff, in that game, Clemson clearly flat out beat them. LSU flat out, they won the game, but Alabama had just as many yards. You had Tua threw for over 400. Najee Harris was getting his. He got 150 on the ground, only 14 touches. They were making plays. The difference was right before half, they pretty much handed them 7. Just handed them 7 with a few seconds left. And then right at the first drive, you go 90 yards, and Tua fumbles the ball at the 3.
Yeah.
So think about it. That's 14 points right there in a game that you lost by 5. So that doesn't happen. 2 plays that never usually happen to Alabama. And we're talking about a completely different football game. So, it's not – I know what you're saying, but LSU won the game. I'm wearing this LSU jersey as we speak with this. I'm on the wagon. The wife is part of this. So it's part of our family.
Smart man.
It says my name. I did not have enough time or money right now to get my name embroidered today. That's you pay a little extra for that today to get that. Yeah. It's like 7 or 8 days shipping and handling right there. So with that being said, though, the Alabama – deserves from that game, if you said, okay, are they worthy of going back and winning the national title after that? Well, yeah. Not like the other year where when they lost, you're like, okay, if they get another shot, they're going to crush them. No, they might lose again. They might lose to Alabama. Alabama might lose to LSU or Ohio State, but yeah, they deserve a shot right now. They're one of the top 4 teams. They're definitely one of the top 4 teams.
Well, that wasn't my question, though. Are they one of the top 4? Can you win a national championship with that defense? And when you look at Ohio State. And I think Ohio State's one of those teams that I just don't know how I feel about them. They're blowing out people, whatever, but they've always done that every year. They go and blow people out, and then they play one of these SEC teams, and then it's equalizer. Then again, they won that one year. But regardless, I don't know. And I think that my thing is, when Dylan Moses went down for Alabama, that was huge. Not because he's a fantastic player, because Alabama has tons of them. I think it was just that leadership. He just brought that leadership to those guys. And I think if he plays in that game against LSU, I think you got a different outcome. Not because of the player that he is. Yeah, he's fantastic, but just because they don't have as many of those mistakes in my mind. So I just think that's what gets me questioning Alabama's defense. I don't question their offense at all. I just don't. I don't question Saban and that coaching staff at all. I just question the leadership on that defensive side of the ball where they get in a game like that with LSU where they just score. They just score and score and score and score, and you've got to be able to make a stop, and you just can't.
You know, one thing is we are an SEC country, and we'll weigh in on more. The college football playoff has made their selection just a few minutes ago. LSU 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Georgia 4, and Alabama checking in at 5. Oregon and Utah at 6 and 7. That's a good spot to be. If you're Oregon, look, Jeff, to break it out, for your Ducks right there, it's not bad. And why I say that is because for Oregon right now, you're happy you're ahead of Minnesota. You're happy you're ahead of Oklahoma. You're happy you're ahead of Penn State. Those are the teams right now you got to look at and say, we're glad we're ahead of those teams. And clearly the committee is putting a lot of emphasis on what you do weekly to get the appearance. Because if you look at Penn State's body of work, I agree Penn State does not deserve to be in the top 4. But if you look at their body of work compared to Oregon and you look at their one loss, I mean, they've beaten Michigan. They've beaten some really good teams. So I just look and say, if you're Oregon, you got to be okay at 6. That's about as high as you could have capped it at what you believe the committee would have put you in today.
Well, and you look at if we went out, we have Arizona State, Arizona, and then Oregon State. That does not bode well for us.
Yeah, the Beavers stink, yeah.
Well, all 3 of those teams you should win. And now the benefit is that we would play Utah, if everything works out, in the Pac-12 championship, which Utah right now is 1 behind us at 7.
That could help, yeah.
So that's the benefit. And I know you look at the body of work, but it's what have you done for me lately? It always kind of seems that way for the committee. And a lot of things have to happen before Oregon's even considered. Listen, I'm telling you right now, we were talking about it at break. Like, if you look at Alabama and Oregon, if they finish out the way they do with 1 loss, I even pick Alabama just because I look at the body of work.
But does the head of the committee, Rob Mullins, who's the athletic director of Oregon,
he better not pick Alabama.
If he does, he wants to keep his job.
No, but can I just throw this out there? And I've said it over and over again. Baylor going undefeated is a real possibility. If they win this week against Oklahoma,
yeah,
they have Texas, and then they end up at Kansas. And I know, the championship game, whatever. But if you beat Oklahoma, you've now asserted yourself. And I know Oklahoma just went to Iowa State, whatever. Still, you're talking about an undefeated team, possibly. And I know it's a what if, but you're talking about throwing a wrench into this whole thing. If Baylor goes undefeated, how do you tell them no? I mean,
disrespectful or funny if you dress like some like clowns in like a green wagon and drove it on your field and just like did a turn and fell.
Listen, if Baylor goes undefeated,
no, did you see what I was saying?
Yeah,
okay, yeah. That based on that, moving on, I'm saying disrespectful. Okay, we'll move on.
No, if Baylor goes undefeated and makes the playoff, by the way, I'm going to get a Baylor jersey and I'm going to put your name on it and I'm going to wear it.
Don't worry, I'm already on a list of the Dave Chappelle's hate ball for things like that. I'm on a long list. I had one time Texas fan call me out something. How dare you say this about my team? And I was like, that's all right. At least your mascot, he'd die. Bevo had passed. I said, don't worry, your mascot's okay. He was an organ donor. I had him last night at Texas Roadhouse. We're all good. And I was like 16-ounce prime rib, and he was like, oh, and he just hung up the phone. I was like, all right, we're done here. And I'm like, oh man, that was bad. We love your mascots. I've taken photos with Bevo. That didn't sound right, but yeah, I have to.
Texas Roadhouse.
Right, not at Texas Roadhouse, right there. Yeah. There might be a plaque with like the signature at Texas. No, but I've been on the sidelines there. It was scary. He was the one. Him and Mike the Tiger were the two that I didn't love sitting by.
Bevo's
right
huge.
There. Yeah, I'm not Mike Tyson. I don't like hang out with Mike the Tiger, but we were there. Bevo is huge. Last year that would have been terrible. I know what happened to Jax, the mascot for Mississippi State, and all, but that would have been hideous if Uga was very close to getting speared right there in that bowl game last year. Like, people don't understand how people were laughing it off. Like, what was happening there? People were just sitting there. People was like, I'm not having this. Like, full speed at him in that bowl game last year. So Uga obviously had the mentality of the way the Bulldogs came out. Anyway, just sort of slugged.
Oh, God, there you
but
are.
Yeah, it is what it is. Hey, Georgia fans celebrate right now. You're number 4. That's good news for you. Now, Georgia they're the one really irrelevant team that could have got that spot, though. And why I mean that is Georgia already knew. They're like, that's great for putting us 4. Cool today. We already know if we went out, we're fine. Think about it.
Yeah.
Georgia's the only team right now that is outside of Ohio State, Clemson, and LSU. The only team out of those 3 that pretty much at this point, and the teams like Minnesota and Baylor, but I'm not really They're going to lose, guys. I'm sorry. It's just Minnesota or Baylor are going to lose.
No, you can't pick Minnesota over Penn State and then just drop them. Like,
no. Yes, I can because Penn State wasn't. No. See, but now you're like the come on, Rock, you got this. Come on. You're just like that come on guy.
I just hope. I would love to.
Yeah, you're not judging that on actual. You're the third down guy at like a Cincinnati Bengals game this week. Like, come on, let's make some noise, guys.
First off, don't compare me to anybody with the Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm not on the bandwagon to go. If they played right now against Ohio State, they lose by at least 2 touchdowns. But at home in their big game against an above average Penn State game, the game played out as it is. They got off to a hot start and they won by 5 or 6. I mean, that's how it went down. You had a 6'9", 400-pound beast up there at the line. That was pretty cool to see.
You're in love with that dude, by the way.
Well, if I was recruiting, I would. I am not in love with that dude, and. It's first off, if he even sent me a if he sent me a card right now, it's too cold up there. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not going to go visit you. We're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV. That's why I would not visit him.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Welcome to Mo! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is a message for all parents. If you as an adult think it's tough being separated or divorced, have you truly stopped to consider how your being separated or divorced affects your children? How parents treat one another, either during or after divorce, can have lifelong effects on your children. Whether you are separated from your spouse or even actually divorced, in either situation, keep in mind that you and your spouse are parents forever. Hello, my name is Stephen T. Holman, and I am a family law attorney. If you have questions regarding custody, visitation, or child support, call me today for a free consultation at 435-6909. That's 435-6909.
Big guys live big. Little John's Big and Tall Fashions and Alterations knows that living big requires quality. That's why Little John's Big and Tall was named this year's winner of Best in Pensacola for men's clothing and has been Best of the Bay finalist for the last 3 years. Let Little John's fit you for your next suit or tux with sizes extra large and up and tall sizes from large. Little John's will fit you into great quality fashions, casual dress, and athletic. Live big with Little John's Big and Tall, 5700 North Davis Highway, Pensacola.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Oh, the irony.
Welcome back, Sports Drive. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Big UFC fight coming up, I guess. Blackowitz is fighting in it. The white. The should be fun on there.
Should be.
Should be a fun
How about
fight.
that
How about that?
Those
How about
MAC
that?
games.
How about them dogs right there? Georgia checking in at number 4, folks. That's been the story here today. And Baylor and Minnesota, though, out of one of the teams who has a better shot, I'm going to go Baylor, just based on that. The winning in the Big 12 is clearly week in and week out. You can win any game. Beating Ohio State right now, if you're Minnesota, would be a huge feat if they get there.
Well, just look at it. Ohio State.
They have to beat Iowa. They're a 3-point underdog this week against Iowa. That's what Minnesota's. They're an underdog this week at Iowa.
Well, it's like you said earlier. You beat Penn State, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, good job." All right, now we're playing Iowa. Oh, cool. Your run's over.
Yeah,
Iowa, but
Iowa. I think they beat Iowa though. I think they do. They can beat Iowa.
And
too.
Iowa is tough though. Like they're a team that you just can't make a whole lot of mistakes against because they're kind of like when Navy. You just get like 3 possessions a game, so you better score on all of them. Yeah, that's kind of what Iowa feels.
Let's go to our phone lines 850-623-1330. We got a call coming in. Caller, who's this? All right, see if we have somebody there. All right, caller, let's try to get this queued up. Caller, who's this?
Chad, this is Eric. How we doing, bud?
Hey, Eric, what's happening?
Hey, I just wanted to give you a call real quick and just remind you that whenever LSU wins the national championship, we're going to be doing gumbo at my house.
Well, that's excellent. That is excellent. I feel like now that I've been put on air, I can't say no to you here. I'm just kidding. I'm actually looking forward to it. It is, by the way, I know you're driving right now, so unless you are one of those people that can afford a TV in the car, I always envy that for the kids that are like watching those cool. I always get behind that person on I-10 that has like a really good movie. I watch Moana from like Gainesville to Tallahassee, but if you're sitting there in the back, and if any state troopers, obviously that's a joke, wink. But Eric, I'm wearing the LSU jersey here today on TV, so there you go.
Yeah, I heard about that. Whenever I was getting off work, I heard that you had the jersey on, and I just wanted to say one of the better decisions you've made in life. We're going to toss out the Patriots and the Celtics and things like that, but I'm definitely happy that our LSU Tigers won. I know that your wife's happy. I know my wife's happy. And I guess that's why she's been cooking me home-cooked meals every day this week.
There you go. Well, I am looking forward to the gumbo. There is a lot of football left before we get to that point. But do you agree, Eric, today LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia are your top 4?
Yeah, I definitely understand why they did that because obviously we're headed to a collision course between LSU and Georgia. So very similar to why they had Alabama and LSU ranked the way that they were so that they could go against each other and kind of settle that debate right then and there. It's the next big SEC collision course that's headed that way with Georgia and LSU. So I definitely expected that to happen. And then, of course, if Georgia loses, then that's going to open up the door for a team that I think is going to be very interesting to look out for with Oklahoma being at 1 loss. I don't necessarily think Baylor is going to win out because I think Oklahoma is going to beat them this week. But the rankings made perfect sense. All they're doing is setting it up for another SEC collision course whenever they match up.
I think so, but I don't think they're setting it up as much as they deserve it right now, too, though. I mean, the SEC is not as good as it used to be, and what I mean by that is there are a lot of bad teams. Mississippi State lost straight up to Kansas State. You got you got Arkansas firing their coach for losing to teams like Western Kentucky, and you got Kentucky's and look, South Carolina loses to App State. All these teams are getting beat, but the top tier teams, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Auburns, the LSUs, the Floridas, those 5 can beat anyone in the country.
No, absolutely. But I also think that Alabama had a rude awakening when they played LSU because the whole season they've been playing the deaf and blind kids with the exception of Texas A&M. So it's definitely a good wake-up call for them. But I expect the Nick Saban team to bounce back, that's for sure. But I definitely think LSU was definitely more hungry. And if you don't believe they were more hungry, freaking Hilaire was carrying 5 Alabama players into the end zone.
That was hilarious.
Touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, whenever I was watching the game, I told my wife, I said, "Hey, babe, do you think he goes to the weight room?" And she started laughing, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to work out with that guy."
Well, 4 touchdowns. It was a great performance.
Yeah, and for all the Alabama fans that want to blame it on Tua, I mean, be mindful that Tua does not play defense, so Hilaire would have dragged all those bodies in the end zone regardless. And he still threw for 400. So I think Tua is fine. But shout out to Jeff because I wonder, do you think the Dolphins are starting to lose their love interest in Tua, so they're starting to win some ball games so Cincinnati can take them? I mean, I don't know what's going on with Miami. They're starting to go on a win streak. It's 2 games. We can officially call it a streak.
No, it's now bomb. You haven't seen the newest news. It's bomb for Burrow now. It's bomb for Burrow.
I think they're trying to get Herbert. Why wouldn't you want Herbert?
If Mackenzie Milton's leg comes back, if he's not,
oh jeez,
from Scrooge McDuck. All right, now listen.
All right, hold on, Eric. Question. Just throwing this. I don't know, and I don't. Either way, I just want to know your honest opinion. If you have Alabama that they beat Auburn, whatever, they have 1 loss, and you have Oregon with 1 loss but a Pac-12 championship, and you look at you got 1 spot open. You got 1, 2, 3s filled, or whatever. So you get that last spot. In your mind, after the eye test and everything, you put everything together, do you say Oregon or Alabama? Just curious.
I'm going to say Oregon for the simple fact that they played the conference championship game, so it has to matter. I mean, I know that you were talking about how lucky LSU got in certain situations, Chad, but let's not be mindful. Like, you can't count on a punt return for a touchdown. So it really could have been 33-6 whenever they were going into halftime. So it could have really been a brutal
LSU outplayed them.
halftime score.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you look at the only competition that Alabama has played, and it could have been a 30-point halftime deficit, that definitely has to go into consideration because ultimately, I've said this from the jump, I don't think Oregon should have lost that game to Auburn. I really credit that to a little bit of luck given the circumstances. And if Oregon can win out, I think they have shown that they're more credible in terms of who they played against than an Alabama team. Because Alabama, they have Auburn, and that's pretty much about it at this point.
It's just hilarious to me that with the story that has scripted a shot for Alabama this year, which is a good shot, they get in still, has been from the love. It will be from the love and the tenderness of Auburn. And I know that they are like, I can't believe he just said that on air. But here's the deal. If Auburn doesn't beat Oregon, and this conversation's really not even happening because if Oregon wins out, they're in. So Auburn helped them in that situation. Right. And now, if Auburn goes out and beats Georgia, then that's going to also help them because it eliminates Georgia. And then it will catapult them up to probably a top, like 6 outside, even with 2 losses. And then Alabama swoops in, beats them in the final game. And then that's when they go, aha. That's where we are. They beat Oregon. They beat Georgia. They beat all these teams, and we just beat them. And boom, that's our final day. We'll sit back and eat our popcorn and watch all the other games. So Auburn is the best friend right now of Alabama in helping them get to the playoff.
Yeah, pretty much. And then if you consider it, too, if Auburn actually plays Alabama tough, I think that pretty much seals their fate that they're not getting in because you would have a 1-loss conference winner in Oregon or maybe even another 1-loss conference winner, maybe let's say Oklahoma, that they're fighting for that last spot. And then if Auburn essentially plays Alabama tough, then it's like, okay, well, really the only credible win that Alabama would have is Texas A&M. And then we've already talked about it before that Texas A&M isn't really worth anything right now. So I think that pretty much seals the deal for Alabama if they can play Auburn close because Auburn barely beat Oregon, and then you're going to have a 1-loss conference winner and then another 1-loss conference winner. So you would have 2 conference 1-loss winners against an Alabama team that basically hasn't played anybody all year that didn't even go into the conference championship game. It's very, very hard to try to justify that to 2 different fan bases.
Well, hey, Eric, appreciate it. And we got to go to a break here, but looking forward to that gumbo.
Sounds good, bud. Take care. Take care, Jeff.
See you, I appreciate it, buddy. Eric Vadrine right there as he's now in management position, so he's too, he calls in to hang out. That's a cool dude, but he's out there wheeling and dealing.
I just want to know, I hope there's boudin balls. I actually had those like yesterday for the very first time in my life.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Anything called boudin, question.
The Boudin family, you talking the ones off Davis Highway there? No, the hot boudin. Okay, I know what you're talking. But if you look at the top 4 right now with LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia, and they had the predictor up there. Now these, after seeing the All-State predictor having Penn State for them, sort of done with predictors for the day, but they had Alabama's chances to make the college football playoff at 40%. They have Georgia's at 24%, which once again, it makes sense, not because Georgia's a spot up, but it makes sense because Georgia has to play LSU with 1 loss. And that's, Georgia, but I don't feel bad for Georgia Because if Georgia wins against South Carolina at home, even if they lose, the LSU-Georgia game is set up this season because the other teams have lost around them. If Georgia and LSU were undefeated going into that game, they pretty much are singing Kumbaya together and they're both headed. This is a clash of one game before they might have another shot. Because if they're both undefeated, they're getting in more than likely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's on you, Georgia. Yeah, like I don't feel last year felt a little bad because you're like, okay, you were still a better team, but if you would have sat out that game, what people don't understand is and that's what people don't get is if Georgia would have sat out like the last game of the season, they would have been in that final spot. But they had to play an extra game against Alabama, and then they end up losing, and then they're out. But they're like, no, we're not going to go to the SEC title game. What do you mean? Be like, we just want to go with one loss and get voted in. So let's wait and let's not do this. Be like, you can't do that, sir.
We can't get hurt if we don't play, right?
Exactly. Well, we're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Imagine having a luxury hotel quality bath in your own home. That's what you'll get with Bath Fitter Pensacola. Bath Fitter will install a beautiful luxury tub in as little as 1 day. There's no demo, no mess, no stress. With thousands of options to choose from, custom design a bath you'll love. It's under warranty for as long as you own your home. With over 35 years experience and more than 2 million satisfied customers, Bath Fitter makes upgrading your bath easy. Visit bathfitter.com today to book your free in-home consultation or call 429-1777.
Saturdays are meant for sports, so Sports Call with Davis and Justin is here to kick off your sports weekend.
College football, the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, the PGA Tour. If it's happening on Saturday, we're talking about it.
Plus, weekly interviews with the players, coaches, and fellow journalists.
Be a part of the show by calling or texting in at 623-1330.
Sports Call with Davis and Justin every Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Hello, Great Balls of Fire. You know, hates Pitbull more than anybody. People that, goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. Think about it. They could make so much money on fireball shots right now. But I like on the crew and everything that we do for like Mardi Gras, everybody's like, play Pitbull Fireball. Come on. And you're like, no, Great Balls of Fire. What about us? They're like, Wasn't that the guy that sang that song? Like, oh, shh, get off the bus over there. But, it's God, the profit they could make right now. Seems to be the theme. I know the White Claws and all those people are drinking that kind of stuff. Zima's like, hey, we came out with that. Nobody wanted that. Like,
what a
marketed
basic
to
thing
like,
to
I know.
say.
But I'm saying, look, fireball shots everywhere. That's
You get more than one.
I was at our daughter did a little 3-year-old fashion show for her school.
We're talking about alcohol, and then you said your daughter. I was just
kidding,
like,
I'm just kidding. It was just a joke. See, I was doing a puppet show at the library, and this lady came around with shots of the crowd shots were pretty.
Now everybody's wondering what library
where
are
you going, by the way. Folks out there, thanks for watching right here on Blab TV. We appreciate it. For everybody here on ESPN Pensacola, I look at the situation right now at the playoff, and if you haven't heard, it's LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia, the top 4. Bama, number 5, Oregon, 6. Just hit myself with a pen. Utah, 7, Minnesota, 8. It is what it is on that one.
Just silence.
Yeah, I do want to mention though, Rocco Baldelli, Minnesota Twins. That's one of our teams
affiliate.
right there. Our affiliate for the Blue Wahoos, Coach of the Year, Rocco Baldelli. I remember when he was stealing bases right there back in the day for Tampa Bay Rays and a couple teams. He was a pretty good player back then. He was a hustler, and he coaches like that. But he is actually going to just won Coach of the Year, and Mike Schilt from St. Louis, the Cardinals. Yeah. Houston stealing signs out there. By that's a. Let's not throw this. If for anybody casting a stone at the New England Patriots for those videos, you better not say this is not a big deal. You were a pitcher in baseball. I was a pitcher. I threw junk. You could know what's coming, and it's probably going to bean you. But you know as a pitcher, if people knew exactly what you're throwing, it's night or day. I mean, for guys like Strasburg, if you know that he's throwing a curveball on a 2-2 count, you can win the game.
Get better.
Steal their signs, Betty. Hey. Appreciate you joining me, Jeff.
Hey, go Baylor.
Go Ducks. Coming back for more tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Football is here. Catch all of the UWF Argos games and the big NFL games every Saturday and Sunday on Pensacola's home for hometown sports. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. If you would like to be a part of ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000 or visit our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Chad Ryder. The latest edition of the college football playoff rankings are out, and after their monumental win over Alabama, LSU now ranked number 1, followed by Ohio State, Clemson, and then Georgia as the first 4 in. Alabama drops to 5th. Oregon and Utah each moved up 1 spot. The Ducks at 6 and the Utes at 7. ESPN's David Pollack.
Oregon and Utah really need each other to do well. Like, they have to both be one-loss teams when they get to that point. They need each other to do well so they can get that